Welcome, everybody, and thank you for spending a few moments with Malcolm and I on the topic of accreditation. It's something which is becoming, it's been around a while, but it's becoming much more common to discuss it. Malcolm, thanks for joining us. You're very, very much an expert in this arena, having had a lot of experience of accreditation of training for various companies. I just wondered how you started to get involved in it. How did you get started with it?
Well, I was actually asked to mark some assignments that other people were getting involved in within other organisations.
Right.
So that was on behalf of a training company. And I guess I started to notice that actually, if 10 people were starting the programme, 10 people tended to complete it.
Right.
So I started to think, okay, well, there's obviously got to be something here.
Yeah.
I then took a role within one of the sort of national home improvement companies. And we went through the usual appraisal process, got a big list of training programs that people wanted us to run.
Right.
Put the first one on for the first 12 delegates, and I think we ended up with 4 in the room. So, and of course you go back and operational pressures were getting in the way.
Yep.
So I thought, well, we've got to come at this from a different approach. So it was about, well, what can we give the individuals?
Okay.
And what we wanted to give the individuals was a nationally accredited qualification.
Right.
So we put together a program linked around the ILM's accreditation.
Okay.
And surprise, surprise, we expected 12 in the room. On most occasions, we got 12. Or
Okay.
if we didn't, the person that wasn't coming would be the first person on the phone asking me if I could have a chat with their manager.
Okay. Okay.
So
I think what you're saying, I mean, I've had this problem recently with a huge amount of workload. With several clients, we've had huge amounts of dropout rates, which frustrates, L&D and HR. And it's understandable. It's totally understandable. And it's usually last minute. But what you're saying is that the investment of accreditation tends to help overcome that. And the broad advantage, Malcolm, I take it, is that, as you said, the individual goes away with something of value that stays with them all their life, really. That's right. The essence of it, yes?
Yeah, absolutely.
And is that for you the main advantage of an accreditation system? Is that the thrust of the...
Well, I mean, yeah, I understand that. You've got to look at it from the individual's point of view. Obviously, the fact that they get a qualification, and it's a little bit of reward for effort, isn't it?
Right.
I've put in the effort, so I get some reward, and somebody knows that I've achieved something. It's similar to when, well, in my day, we did O levels and A levels.
Sure.
You pick up the bit of paper, and sort of that stays with you. But I think as well that there's a motivation thing. Right. Generally, and that it actually motivates individuals outside of the process, and also because it's quite practical. Individuals actually take back into the workplace the tips and techniques and ideas that they've had, and because it's normally more than one session, they'll come back to the next session and they'll tell you what worked, and obviously more exciting, they tell you what didn't work, and you can have a chat about what they're going to do again. So there's a lot of it there's a lot in it for the individual, but obviously from the company, if you're getting people to turn up to training that you're paying for and it's on, then actually, if you've paid for 12, you want 12 in the room. Sure. So there's an element of, it being cost effective.
Yep.
And I think just sort of building on that, from a company point of view, you've probably seen this thing called the Great Resignation.
Yep.
And apparently it's worldwide. I've been looking recently that something in America, something like sort of 44% of people expect to move jobs. But in the UK,
for job changes, yeah.
In the UK, 30% of people are actually looking to move jobs this year.
Okay.
And 44% in legal, 42% in IT, and so on. So there's a lot of people looking to move. And there's a bit of a double whammy, really, from an organisation's point of view. So one is it's a retention tool. So maybe it stops people looking. But then, of course, if there are lots of people looking for jobs, you've got to make, and the job market's tight, you need some unique selling points. So it's actually not only a retention tool, but also a recruitment tool. So it's a double whammy in terms of upskilling, quality and quantity of people.
So what has seemed to me over the years of being involved in accreditation is growing in popularity. Is the reason it's growing in popularity is there's a big shift to the individual, the employee, having a lot more power in these discussions now, and being a lot more assertive as the ages go down, as people coming in, as the newer generations coming in, a lot more assertive, and requiring that the company gives something tangible as part of a career, and accreditation, certification can be part of that story, of course. So that's part of the demand, but also it does make a company attractive to go to if they're prepared to invest in a career with evidence, which is an accreditation system. So to help those watching, there's broadly, in my experience, a bit of I'm not as knowledgeable as you on this, Malcolm, but there's a couple of levels, aren't there, of the way that we can accredit or give this certification, this acknowledgement to a training.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, without getting into all the sort of big words and who does what and so on. Essentially, there's two routes forward. One is that you put people on a program which has already been put together and the standards have been put together and so on, and you put your program together in order for those people to meet the standards, which is great. That normally comes with the opportunity to write assignments and various other things to prove your level of competence. So that's sort of one route. The other one is, and we both know this, there's some great training out there, some really great training, and there's an opportunity to have that sort of rubber stamped and therefore run your own program and have it seen as being suitable for some sort of certification. So that's another great route forward. Sure. And I'm just going off, I'm a great believer in not reinventing the wheel. If you've got something that's really good, then why not take that forward and that's delivering exactly what you want. You get everything, don't you? You get people learning what you want them to do. Hopefully you're going to retain them, and hopefully you're going to recruit as well. So it seems to me that it's a win-win. I
agree. And so the broad two levels are taking something off the shelf, which I understand takes a fair bit more admin, let's say, and monitoring and quality control and assignments and therefore a lot more effort outside of the training room. But also we could take something that's already there, even though, Malcolm, it's a blend of classroom and online. That whole
that's fine.
Could be given an accreditation. In the giving of that accreditation, which is not hugely expensive, then at the end of that process, the individuals go away with a certificate that deems that to be of a certain quality, and that certificate can be used for their careers, for pursuing other jobs and opportunities. And as an incentive, you're getting something I would say internationally recognized, because of the two organizations that we work with. You know very well, the ILM, and strangely the same name, but not the same organization, the Institute of Leadership and Management. And the ILM conventionally is this very thorough work assignment accredited base, and the Institute of Leadership and Management we can use to certify courses as being of a certain standard.
Absolutely.
So thank you for that clarification, and I think it is something to be distinctive as an employer, that employers can consider, and not too much of an overhead. And I would add in our sales pitch, Malcolm, that's what we do, and we can help organizations get that done and get that done cost effectively and quickly. But to finish off, what do you notice about the trend? What does the future look like, Malcolm, in your view, for this whole area?
Well, I think there are individuals coming into the labour market now. I mean, we've gone through millennials and whatever we are on. I can't remember now.
Generation Z, I think.
And they very much like to know, well, what's the point? Why am I being asked to do this? Why is this important? Where does it fit into my life, and so on and so forth? And therefore, I can only see a situation where actually the demand for these sorts of qualifications is actually going to increase.
Right.
And going back to the retention and recruitment bit, if you want to recruit me, then you've got to give me a reason for me to come on board, other than my salary and other than my other fantastic working environment. So I think it's going to grow, and then of course the older generation, if you like, are probably turning around and saying, well, you know, hang on a minute, I've got all these years of experience, and I'd also like to have some sort of, you know, rubber stamp that I've been doing things in the right way. So it's going to grow. It is going to grow.
And just to quickly add a thought, this rubber stamp, you just mentioned experienced people, can be rubber stamped at certain levels, right? So it's not just a one-off, this is okay kind of certificate. It can be leveled. So yes. Sort of as to the level of skill. Certainly with the ILM, you can get level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that right? As to the
7, I think now. Yeah,
the depth.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So something there for everybody. I'd just like to thank you, Malcolm, for sharing your thoughts on it.
Well, no, thank you.
And anybody watching, do feel free to contact me or Malcolm, and we're really happy to have a chat, give thoughts and ideas about the way forward. So that's on the topic of accreditation. Thank you very, very much for watching.
Thank you.